Hi, so today I'm going to take you through something that's really important to all of us, and it's actually a little secret that very successful people use, and I've watched so many people use this, and the difference between what they achieve and what people who don't sort of focus on these aspects are, it's huge. So I'm going to let you into a little secret today, and we're going to learn how incredibly successful people plan. And that's just about how they set about thinking about how they're going to do something, and then what are the little steps that they do differently to what you and I do. And they're not difficult, but they certainly get around a lot of the frustrations that we feel when things aren't quite running right, or the fear that something isn't going to happen as it is. Well, very successful people, typically they don't have the same fears that you and I have, because they've actually put in place a few little steps that just lift that fear and anxiety off their shoulders and into a plan. So I've written out ROBS, because basically what they're doing is they're robbing fear, they're getting rid of it. And these are the 4 steps that I want to take you through that just gives you an insight into what they're doing differently to typically what you and I do. So the first one is they've got a realistic view of the actual world. Now, yeah, you and I have a realistic view as well. Well, sometimes we don't, because typically what we do is we start off and we actually have this. Okay, so this is our objectives. Here we are now. And what we want to do is we want to get it over to here. This is the end result, the checkered flag. And we see the world sometimes as like this, okay? And all we've got to do is just push that, and it's going to magically roll down the hill and hit the flag. Bingo, done. But guess what happens? We start pushing this and it doesn't roll. And the reason it doesn't roll is the world is not like that. The world is typically the other way around. That's the way the world looks like, okay? You've got to push this object up a hill. And guess what happens if you stop pushing? Yeah, so you get to here and I'm a little bit tired and I've been distracted by something else. You stop pushing. And what happens this? It rolls back down the hill. So successful people, they know this happens. So before they even decide that they're going to push this up the hill, they think, hang on a second, am I committed to keep pushing this all the way up the hill until it's there? Because if I'm not committed to doing that, I'm going to get halfway, stop, this is going to roll back, I'll come to it, in a few weeks' time and have to start all over again and keep pushing up that hill. So think realistic. If you're going to start something and do something, plan to make sure that you can follow this through. The realistic view of the world. It's uphill. If you stop, you're going to be starting over again. So the second thing that successful people do is, this is a lovely straight path, yeah? Well, they don't quite think like that. They think in terms of O for obstacles. So what are they thinking that we're not thinking? Well, again, look at this path, nice and straight. Well, that's not exactly how they see it. So again, they're starting here and they want to get to the same flag. Oop. So I'm going to start here to make my diagram nice and easy for me to draw. They see the path starting off fine because they can see till next week and they know that's all fine. But then they know that things are going to get maybe a little bit bumpy. And eventually, there could be a cliff in the middle of it. And then they get back off the cliff and they start off, and then a huge push to get to the flag. And these are all obstacles. Okay, so they actually look at the flag and say, well, I'm going to have to get to the flag, okay? So what are the things that are going to prevent me getting to the flag? And they'll start thinking, oh yeah, actually, if this happens, that could be a big problem. So let's imagine what I'm going to do about that now. Is there something I can do now to address that obstacle? And typically they can. They go, oh yeah, okay, if that happens, I'll do this, I'll do that. So they're prepared for it. They plan in advance. The second they do is they realize that actually it's not all going to be a nice, straight, easy path, or even if it's just a difficult path and consistent. Because quite often happens is as we get near to the end of a plan, we're so close and then something bad happens. The world falls down. Oh no, how am I going to get through this? They know that happens. It happens every single time we try to do something important. So they plan for it. They know that things are going to go easy, and then all of a sudden they're going to be hard. You're going to have to push yourself over the line. So they're already thinking, okay, so this is going to happen. So when it does happen, hey, we've been there, we've thought about it. I know I just have to push through it, and I'm going to complete it. So that's how successful people think through obstacles. The third thing they do is B, and that's for benefits. Okay, this is something that when I first started doing this, it was a game changer for me. Because again, when you're sitting here or sitting in the middle of your cliff, something's just gone wrong, it's so easy to think, oh, this is it, I'm going to give up, it's too hard, or I need help, whatever it is. And panic, the frustration, the fear, all of that. Once you start thinking about the benefits of when you're actually here, things start falling into place. So what happens with your mind? Well, you think, okay, things are really bad at the moment, but hang on a second. I know that when I get to there, I'll achieve the thing that I really want to do. I will have that wonderful feeling. I will learn. I will have more money maybe. I'll have a better friendship. I will go and visit some place that, okay, it's difficult for me to plan at the moment, but once I go through and plan it and go through the stress of getting on the plane and figuring it all out, I'm going to have that joy. So when you're here in the and you're thinking through the joy, it's a lot easier for you to keep pulling yourself through. And often it's just having one or two benefits in the back of your mind and focused. That's what pulls you through those difficult periods that you are going to get through as you go through your goals. The fourth thing is S, and that's actually for sub-goals. What? Okay. And this is all about making something possible. It's about, I remember the elephant. So can you eat an elephant? No. But a bite at a time, well, you can certainly start making a try. It's about breaking a big task down into manageable chunks. Chunks that you can actually influence and aim for and tilt. And as you do them, cross them off and say it's done. So if you take this example, for a successful person would basically break it down to 3 or 4 chunks. So there's maybe chunk 1, chunk 2, I know I'm going to have a big obstacle, I need to get over that. Chunk 3, that's the easy part when everything's happening. And chunk 4 is that final sprint to go and implement it and get it done. And what you do for each sub-goal is you figure out, okay, so what's the world going to look like here? And then what you do is you say, okay, so when I'm there, this is what I want to have achieved. This is the target, and how long is it going to take me to get there? Well, actually, I think it should take me about 1 week. Yeah. So you're setting an expectation for yourself. And the other really important thing that you should always do with a sub-goal is say, okay, if I get there, what am I going to do to reward myself? Because reward is an incredibly powerful motivator for us all. Even if that reward is just simply the pat on the back to say, well done, you said you would do it and you've actually done it on time. Or the reward might be, phone a friend, go out for a meal, whatever it is. But make sure you reward yourself, because that is one of the best motivators we've got. So typically a successful person, they'll have broken this down into the 4 sub-goals here. Goal 2, goal 3, goal 4. So from the beginning, they've got a rough idea of, here's how long it's going to take me. So maybe it's going to take me 1 month. Yeah. And here's the 3 sub-goals and the 4th, that as I break through these, I'll have achieved and I'll have gotten to my goal. And it's a lot easier to break it down like this. If you think about some of the things you want to do, so some of the amazing stuff, the really big stuff that gets us excited, sometimes you can have a fear. It's just too big. How am I going to do it? And that is why breaking it back down into the sub-goals, you're basically making a quarter of each one. And when you're seeing something is just a quarter of some amazing big goal, a quarter is much more manageable and obtainable, and often that's all you need to just start moving forward. So again, realistic, obstacles, benefits, and sub-goals. They are the 4 things that really successful people are using that I really encourage you to build into the really important things that you're striving for too.